The following is a presentation of the Maine Department of Education School Finance Team, brought to you by the Maine School Management Association.
Okay, I'm going to talk with you about MaineCare Seed today. My name is Michelle Alexander, and I will be talking about the MaineCare with Denise Towers, my coworker. Here you have our email addresses and our phone numbers. Give us a call anytime if you have any questions. We're almost always available. Also, if you have any specific scenarios that you would like to discuss, we can always set up a Zoom so that we can answer all the questions that you've got. All right, what is MaineCare? It's a health insurance program that is state and federally funded. The federal government funds about 61% of the allowable claims, and the state funds the remaining 39% of allowable claims. What is MaineCare Seed? It's the state share of a MaineCare claim authorized by an IEP. And who is responsible for the MaineCare Seed? That's the SAUs and CDS. They're both obligated to pay the state share for all MaineCare school-related services provided, school health-related. This is the DOE quarterly seed recovery schedule. We have 2 quarters from prior year and then 2 quarters from the current year. And on here you see 4 quarters, quarter 3, which is prior year, quarter 4, prior year, then quarter 1 and quarter 2 are current years. I'll go through one of them. Quarter 3 prior year, on June 1st, DHS sends quarter 3 seed reports to DOE. And then June 1st through June 15th, DOE determines the claim responsibility using enrollment data. And then June 15th through July 15th, this is when the SAUs and CDS review the private and public seed reports. The disputes are due by July 15th, and those dates are very important. You want to get the disputes taken care of before July 15th so that we don't have to make any corrections later. It's so much easier to get it done before the 15th. Once the dispute period is over, SAU payments are adjusted by the seed responsibility amount for the quarter. The ED 279, Section 6 will show the recovered amount for that quarter. And here we have a flow chart that shows the different steps through the MaineCare seed process. DOE pays DHHS up front on behalf of SAU's anticipated MaineCare seed for IEP authorized services. Then DOE recovers seed from responsible SAUs for each quarter. So on the flow chart, it shows that DHHS first determines the anticipated seed. DOE sends DHS the funds, then the provider bills MaineCare and receives 100% of the allowable claim amount. DHHS then sends the quarterly report of actual seed claims to DOE. DOE assigns claim responsibility to the SAUs. And then the SAUs review the public and private reports for accuracy in a specific timeline. And then DOE will recover seed from each responsible SAU via the ED 279. And you have a recovery schedule here, which is showing quarter 3, recovering seed in July, then quarter 4 in October, quarter 1 in January, and quarter 2 in April. So this is going to be a great place for you to reference that information if it's helpful. The claims land on the seed report based on when MaineCare pays for the claim, not when the service is rendered. For example, quarter 1 claims are paid in July, August, and September, and so on for the other 3. All right, MaineCare seed report review. All SAUs must check their public and private seed reports each quarter, even if you're not sure or you don't believe that there's any claim on the report. Please check it. Sometimes there's mistakes. There could be something that should have been on there, or there may be something that is on there, like we said, that you might want to dispute. And why do we need you to do that? And that's so that we can take care of whatever the issue is as soon as possible. And when when we would like you to do that is within the allotted timeline, giving in the quarterly notice of adjustments to be made. All right, this is a list of what you would do to review the public and private reports each quarter. This is how you would get into NEO, and it's step by step. If somebody isn't, if you don't have access to NEO, then you would have to request access through the superintendent, and the superintendent would go in and electronically request access for you. Public seed, these are the claims that are billed by SAUs, and private seed are the claims billed by special purpose private schools, private entities, and private agencies. And then we have a bit of helpful information. Like I said a minute ago, the claims show up on the seed reports based on when MaineCare pays the claim, not when the service was rendered. Enrollments are used to determine the responsible SAU, and the seed payment is when the state makes, seed is a payment that the state makes on behalf of the SAUs. And each quarter, the department provides SAUs notice of seed adjustments to be made through a priority notice. Special education directors review the quarterly seed report to ensure that the students on the report are in fact the responsibility of that SAU, and also to make sure that the services that were rendered were in accordance with the IEP. If you find that a student is on one of your reports and you don't believe that they are the responsibility of that SAU, send me a dispute as soon as you can so that we can get that corrected before the 15th of that month. Then we can get that corrected. I will send you an email letting you know that it was removed from your report, or I'll explain why it does need to stay on there. But we do like to get that done in time. And also, it's very important that the special education directors and business managers communicate throughout this whole process. Does anybody have any questions? I went through that kind of fast, but thank you. And Denise Towers is going to take over from here.
Hello again. I wanted to share something with you today, an analysis that I did for a district. I had a district give me a call and said to me, why is my private seed so high? It's going up every single quarter and I just don't know what's going on. So I took a few minutes and I created a spreadsheet, and I would recommend that folks do this because it does help understand the information that you're looking at on your seed reports. So what I've done is, for the recovery year 2026, private seed, I put a spreadsheet together for each quarter for each kid. So first column is the kid's initials. I started with quarter 325 because that's the first quarter in the 26 recovery year. And I listed how much seed was on that report for this particular kiddo. And as you can see, it was 0. And I did that for each particular quarter. And what it does is it actually tells you a story. When you look at it as a whole, you can tell that 5 kids were new in quarter 2026, right? Because we have zeros in these columns. They weren't on these reports, but they landed on the fourth quarter report. And you can see here the difference in the quarterly report amounts. So they started with 44, went to 62, went to 64, and now they're at 102. So they had good reason to want to know why their report went up, why the seed amount went up. And it is because those kids may have just moved into their district, or maybe those kids just were identified and started receiving services. These are things I wouldn't know. But the reason that this is a good idea is because it's easier to explain to the folks that you need to explain to why your seed is going up, right? Here you can look at it quickly and say, we have 5 new students. You can't necessarily do that just looking at the seed report that you have in NEO, right? So I feel like the more detail, the better. You could actually do this with specific to service. Speech service. How many kids are getting speech in our district? You may already have this, I don't know. But when it comes to the SEED, it provides a picture. I know that a lot of folks get questions about SEED because it costs, it's money. It's money coming out of your budget. So it's probably a really good idea to get a look at what's really happening in your SEED reports. Again, we repeat ourselves a lot because we really want you to understand that claims land on your report based on when they were paid by MaineCare. How can billing MaineCare help your district? Who bills MaineCare right now? Not very many. Okay. So there's a few reasons you should bill MaineCare. Number one, regular cash flow. More regular cash flow. But more importantly, I think probably is number two, federal funds versus local/state funding for education needs for medically necessary services. So the Maine Education Policy Research Institute, MEPRI, in their research have identified at least $96 million untapped potential to access federal funds, resulting in missed opportunities to secure federal funds rather than using local education funds. That's a big deal, right? $96 million. Everyone's budgets are tight. So using federal funds instead of local state funds could benefit your district to allow more of that local state funding for other things. Has anyone done a cost analysis for MaineCare billing? Like, I want to bill MaineCare and I need some information. Has anyone done that? No. I had one district say, I'm going to do speech first, right? Because it's probably the most manageable. And this is the process that this person did. What they did was reviewed MaineCare trainings, policies, manuals pertaining to each service considered, determine local costs to provide the service, and the cost that's associated with management of billing MaineCare. And how you can do that is by utilizing resources that are on the Medicaid website. MaineCare Provider Relations is the spot that you will start with. They will tell you the things you need to do, the things you need to prepare for. They are your starting point when you want to start talking about billing MaineCare. Also, Trista Collins is the state Medicaid education liaison. She also is a great person to speak to because you could call her and say, I have 3 people in my district and we want to talk about MaineCare. And she'd say, when do you want me to come? So I would say use your resources to benefit you, to get you the information that you need, and to get the most of it, right? Having Trista as a contact is a beneficial thing for schools. MaineCare School Health Services Training. This is on their website as well. This talks about the process of SEED and billing MaineCare. Additional resources are available also. When you get the electronic copy of this, you'll be able to click into these links. So policies by service. If you want to know about adaptive behavior services for children, you should click into this link right here, which I'm not going to do, but click onto that link, and it's going to bring up 8 or 10 page document for you. And what this document does is it talks all about Section 28, the adaptive services, what you can do, what you can't do, who can do it, who can't. It will give you all of the pertinent information so that you should be confident that you understand what to do for that particular service when it comes to MaineCare billing. Then we have rates by service, Chapter 3. This is a very common question for me. How much are we going to get paid if we do speech? Well, it really depends, right? Because there's a number of services that speech therapists provide. So how to know? Again, here's a link. I'm going to click to the page. So when you click on that link, it will come up looking like this. This is the rate setting page for DHHS, and I believe I clicked on maybe that Excel folder. So choose the one you want to look at, and when it comes up, it's going to look like this. And you can see it tells you the procedure codes, the modifiers, the adaptive skills training, the unit of service, and the rate. And there are a number. I mean, I only took a little quick snapshot. So you could go in there and determine what service your kids need and how much you'll get paid for it. So you can check out your rates at any given time. And I say, that's a really important piece to know what's coming in, right? We always know what's going out, but we need to know what's coming in. Any questions so far? Okay, accounting for MaineCare revenue. K through 12 IEP authorized services are seedable. That means that the state share match is appropriate and SAUs are responsible for that. The coding, when you get MaineCare coming in, you're either using Fund 1000 or 2460. You would book it into revenue 4585, which tells us that it's MaineCare revenue. On this side, you're going to code the expenditure piece. And because it's IEP authorized and it's seedable, you're going to use your seed report to break down the costs in your seed report and code them appropriately. The seed report is like an invoice, really. It's really like an invoice for you. So the next slide, before I talk too much about, if you were in a cohort right now, this pertains to you. If you're not in a cohort yet, this particular slide does not pertain to you, but it will next year. And what it's saying is pre-K IEP authorized services must be coded into Fund 2213. And revenue coming from 4508 would be booked into 2213 using 4508. Other state aid would be revenue 3128. And these are the service coding lines that you would use for pre-K IEP authorized. SAUs are not responsible for the state share of these pre-K IEP authorized services. That's being taken care of through the state. Pre-K through 12 non-IEP authorized MaineCare services. Those would be coded to either 1,000, 6,500, or 6,600 using revenue code 4586 for MaineCare because we do not want to mix those two. So SAUs that operate school-based health centers currently have the option of enrolling and billing under MaineCare Benefits Manual Section 3, ambulatory care clinic services. Services may include preventative, diagnostic, or therapeutic services for acute, episodic, and chronic conditions, and basic laboratory services. These services are not seedable because they are not authorized by an IEP. So these services will not have any state share for pre-K through 12 non-IEP authorized services. Once MaineCare revenue is received, recorded, and reported as appropriate, it may be transferred to the general fund if necessary, as it is considered a reimbursement. Sorry, Paula?
It's the only time it's allowed.
It is considered a reimbursement for MaineCare provided services. You're paying for your services through your general fund or another fund, and then you get reimbursed by MaineCare. Due to the high cost of special education expenditures, we recommend utilizing MaineCare revenue to offset special education costs instead of transferring to the general fund for other purposes. Does anyone transfer to the general fund for other purposes? If you did need to, or if you were going to do that, your coding would be Object 9120, 5203, but we do recommend that you keep it within so that your revenue is taking care of some of your other special ed expenditures. Any questions about that? We have a few more additional resources for you. And when you get the electronic copy, they'll be available for you there.
Scan any of the QR codes on your screen. Any questions you have that aren't covered in this video? Go to maine.gov/DOE/funding and click on Contact Us. There you'll find the contacts for the school finance team. Expect a response within 24 to 48 hours. Click on another video within the playlist to continue watching the training.